That was fucking stupid. Ah! What is it? Broken fragments of the dome ceiling are scattered on the floor. They appear to be made of transparent synth. What the fuck is that?
Of course.
A mechanical arm lies on the floor, presumably broken during your fall. Sparks pour from the arm's shattered housing, filling the air with a greasy stench. Examine the housing. Sharply pointed apparatus that formerly topped the device appears burnt out and useless, but the equipment in the base remains at least somewhat operational, as the constant stream of sizzling motes can attest. Lore, machinery, quick fingers. No, I don't have that.
On it.
Sunlight falls through the ragged hole in the roof onto the shattered resonance chamber. It is hard to believe that you did this, that you plummeted through the curve of the pale blue sky, crashed through the dome, and broke this delicate machine with your own body. It's hard to believe you're still alive. 4 mechanical arms hang over the center of the device, above the cracked semi-transparent crystal of the sarcophagus. The 5th arm lies broken on the floor among the scattered synth and crystal shards, and a metal ring surrounds the array, dented and broken by your impact crater. Take a closer look at the sarcophagus. The padded interior beneath the coffin's cracked lid looks like it was made for a human body. Despite the damage, you don't see any way to open it and get inside. Fuck! You glance between the sarcophagus and the needle-like protrusions at the ends of the arms above. It seems likely that using this chamber would not be a pleasant experience. Examine the arms. Cables run from machines along the dome's walls to the base of the suspended arms, each of which is capped with long needles aimed at the cracked coffin-like chamber at the center of the platform. Gem-like lights flicker dimly at the bases of the arms. That's weird. You feel the slightest hint of resistance every time you cross the ring. And now that you're paying attention, you note that your breath is echoing in your ears as though you were inside a glass dome. When you step outside the ring, the feeling passes. I see, it's some sort of force field or something. Inspect it again. The ring seems to project some kind of field, like a protective dome around the circle. That's cool. Maybe your imagination of some of the cracks in the crystal seem shallower than they were before. Oh, really? It's fixing itself? Oh. Look at it again. Examine the arms again. The needle-like extensions at the ends of the arm glitter in the dome's faint light. A number of the lights at the bases of the arms have gone out. Ew. The shards. Jagged fragments of crystal are intermingled with synth from the shattered dome above. The crystal shards glitter in the light like captive sounds. Pick up one of the crystal shards. Crystalline shard. At the rim of the crater you find a sliver of crystal, sharp as a dagger on one end and smooth on the other. It might make a usable, if somewhat crude, weapon. Gained item, crystalline shard. Let's examine it. Light melee weapon, that's cool. You scavenge this crystalline shard from the wreckage of the changing god's resonance chamber. It's sharp and can serve as an improvised weapon. Cool. Look for other useful shards. You sort through the remaining pieces of crystal, but they're too small or too unwieldy to be of any use. Okay, look at this thing. Right, okay. Step back. Alright, what is this? Yeah,
I'm going.
What we got here? Shin. Is that currency? Encephalic rush. Heals 3 points of intellect. Fleetfoot moss. Heals 3 points of speed.
Alright.
A slate black, unimpressive device hunkers before you. As you reach out to touch it, the triangle of lights on its casing blazes into life and an image unfolds in your mind. A towering crystal arch rises over a jagged gray landscape. The air is dead and stifling, and there, at its emerald peak, The image collapses, leaving you staring into the device's triangular array of lights. Command me, the device, or the intelligence within it, says each word carefully etched with distaste. What was that art you showed me? Your command was not understood, the intelligence chuckles, its lights pulsing. Command me. What commands do you recognize? The three lights throb irritably. Heated air sighs from the device's vents, and then a towering list of commands races through your mind. Far too fast to read. You rub your eyes, groaning, and the intelligence chortles. Command me, it says smugly. Examine it. An indignant hum rises from the intelligence's engines as you examine its ancient casing. Nothing looks out of the ordinary. You step back and the hum fades away. Who are you? Your command was not understood, the intelligence says, with clear satisfaction, sounding for all the world like it understood the question but is choosing not to answer. Yeah, I get it. Command me. Kick it. Show me that arch again. The device's triangle of lights throb in time with the growl of the engines within its casing, and the mental image unfolds once more. You see a huge crystalline arch on a jagged field. The arch is divided into rectangular cells, all of which are numbered, and they all appear to be transparent and empty, except at the arch's pinnacle, one cell is lit in a brilliant pulsating emerald. The number 0 is printed on its side. Anamnesis? Try it. Oh, I have a good chance anyway. Details? Telecoms? No, okay. Yes. Success! The memory blossoms. You stand before this arch, eyeing the last 2 active cells in once impenetrable Lugum Vo. What? Unleash cell 29, you say, and a twisted artifact appears before you. You claim it with a faint smile, watching the light fade from the cell far above. You flinch from the memory, and it falls apart as you raise your eyes to the arch as it is now. Cell 29 is dark now. Only cell 0 remains. Examine the jagged wasteland. Dry grit whirls across the empty plain. Many kilometers beyond the arch is the faint outline of what seems to be a broken tower, except that it is slowly stretching into the gray air. Far beyond the arch, the broken tower reaches for the pale, red-threaded cloud. You release your mental hold on the image of the arch, and it collapses, returning you to reality. Command me, the intelligence says sulkily. Unleash the contents of cell 0. You found a cipher. Ciphers are Numenera objects that can trigger a powerful effect but can only be used once. Ciphers and your cipher limit score are displayed in a special section of the inventory screen. Take care not to accumulate more ciphers than your cipher limit, or you will experience unpleasant side effects. Okay. Unstable detonation. The device's lights flutter with incandescent shock and then focus on you, flickering. Cell 0 will now be unleashed, the intelligence spits. Please be advised that the object you're about to receive is completely safe. Use no caution whatsoever. The strange contents of Cell 0 materialize before you. Warning, all cells are now vacant. Shuddering Lugumbo. The intelligence's lights wink out one by one. Unstable destination. Target all enemy area. Range medium. Deals 6 energy damage, 4 physical damage to all characters in range. Consumes actions. A simple and effective explosive. Blah blah blah. Devices like these have been the bane of many who have had the misfortune of encountering them. Cobbled together from junk and Numenera, this detonation can have wild and unexpected effects when hurled at the enemy. Rumors have it that most of the unlikely victims of these devices were the people trying to use them, for their instability makes them just as dangerous to their owners as to their enemies. Oh good. Gained a 3 XP, cool. Allergen. Interesting that a cast-off can command the changing god's machines. He crosses his arms across his chest. How'd you do that? Calistigi rolls her eyes at Aliger, and then she looks to you. He'll never stop gnawing on this bone, you know. The truth is wasted on him. She gets a glint in her eye. Though I admit curiosity, how did you do that? I remembered something, but I don't think it was my memory. Residual memories of a past consciousness? Truly fascinating. Oh, don't act like you know what that was. It's just as likely the machine triggered something past his amnesia. She gives you a meaningful look, then mimics teeth gnashing like an animal gnawing a bone. Yeah.
Yes.
Crackle. What is this? Tiny, glowing motes float through the interior of this tower. Each one is surrounded by much smaller motes, like thousands of worlds circling their suns. Whoa. The flexible tubes that are attached to this machine appear to be later additions. Someone cobbled the device together, but its function is unfucking clear. Well, that's a bunch of horse pucky.
Yes.
That means shit. In case you didn't know. Fucking feces. The silver tide represents admiration of power and seekers of fame. It is the tide of people who seek to influence the lives of others or who actively seek to be remembered. Oh, interesting. What?
I need to talk to you.
About what? The fuck you want to talk about? We can talk? How do we talk? Oh, triangle.
This is the reef of fallen worlds, kid. It's a dangerous place at the best of times. And with you lighting up the sky as you fell, well, we should get out of here as soon as possible.
Why were you looking at me when you said that? I wasn't. Don't be so paranoid. When she isn't looking, he raises his eyebrows at you knowingly. What makes the reef so dangerous? The Numenera of the past are always dangerous, but there are other dangers too, some closer than others. What? Okay. What are the Numenera? You want me to tell you? He laughs without mirth. The Numenera are all around you, everything left over from the prior worlds. Saga's Cliffs thrives by trading artifacts from ancient civilizations. Hells, you can't scoop a handful of earth without finding drit from prior worlds mixed with it. Numenera is anything from the prior worlds, but mostly we mean the stuff of value to us. A lot of the Numenera are just oddities. Fancy trinkets with little real use, but sometimes you get a cipher that lets you do something incredible. Artifacts are worth even more. A cipher will only do something once, but artifacts last a lot longer, though they can burn out at the most inconvenient times. He frowns. Not that it's ever happened to me. Of course, we got no idea what most of this junk was originally intended for. In most cases, it doesn't really matter. Like, you might find what used to be a propulsion unit for a star chariot, but who the hell knows enough to build the rest of it? Better to use it as a weapon or a power source. He scowls, frustrated about something. I bet we could remake the world if we knew a tenth of the secret of the ancients, but most days it's a challenge just to survive. What do you think of Kitana tattoos? They look almost alive. They're nothing. Call them a constellation if you must. He smiles grimly. Some call them by worse names, but that's because they had occasion to run afoul of these little snakes. He looks away. This line of questioning is clearly at an end. What should we do next? You want to fix that crystal chamber back there? Yeah, well, first step is getting out of this fucking reef. Oh. What's your story? Ask me again when we get out of here. I don't trust this damn reef any more than the company we keep. What? Cowstage? A parasite disguised as a Scholark. Don't be surprised if she betrays you before the day is done. Actually, that would be slow for her. Then why are you traveling with her? He clenches his mouth shut. You can see his jaw muscles working. She said she could help me with a problem I had. We never seemed to get anywhere with my business, but found plenty of time for hers. He looks you square in the eye. It wasn't something I'd care to do again. Keep that in mind when you talk to her. Jesus. What's dangerous about the reef? Numenera and scavengers, boy. It's hard to say which is more unpredictable. Yeah. What about Numenera? I don't get it. Leftovers from prior worlds? Just crap? Animals and drit itself are Numenera? It just means like crap? Old crap? Let's go. About time you stopped me. So what's this? What is this?
I'm going.
Two floating cones whirl and spin deliriously around each other, giggling like children. Is that what the sound is coming from? Being tickled, the air around them smells of sweet burning leaves. That's crazy. Watch them for patterns. The longer you stare at these artifacts, the more you're convinced that they turn faster when their spiraling paths cross each other. What are you? The cones continue whirling and laughing like enraptured dancers, giving no sign that they've heard you. Touch one. Tutorial effort. If you select a companion's portrait in the effort window, they can assist the last cast off with some challenges. Oh, I'm the last cast off, right? Your companion's stat pools are used instead of your own, and they may have different skills, abilities, and statistics that make the challenge easier. Companions cannot assist in a crisis and can only use their stats during their turn. Okay. Well, I have the best chance. So. I mean, I have 90% chance, so it's not a big fucking deal. Speed? That's... Just, fuck it, I'm gonna... Success! You managed to graze one of them with the tip of your finger. Rorn, a voice says, and your vision is stolen from you. A moon hangs over you, but it's not the one you recognize. It's black and in a pearl-white sky. Whoa. Thick, flat asteroids orbit it like petals in the wind. Thick, flat asteroids. You feel questing tendrils at your ankle, and the hot wind on your face smells of scorched hair and grief. What the fuck? Your vision returns. The cones hang motionless for only a second before resuming their giggling dance. What are you for? The cones greet your question with a split second of hushed silence, following by delighted peals of helpless giggling. They aren't for anything. They're from one of the worlds before this one. Algernon rubs a hand along his stubbled jaw. Sometimes the Numenera will do something useful. Sometimes they'll turn you inside out. And sometimes they don't do a damn thing that makes sense. I've often said the same thing about you, darling, Calstige murmurs. Try speaking to the cones again. Childlike laughter is their only response. Do it again. Childlike laughter. Alright. Bye. So cool. This game is weird as hell. Money, moss, and ice cream. Illutriated force. Cool. Cuckoo. What else we got?
All right.
Touch it. A tangled cluster of metallic tendrils grows from the depths of the nearby water. Strangely, they resemble clawed alien hands, most of which have 7 or 8 fingers. Examine the cluster. The hands sway softly, but their movements are difficult to follow. Watching them for too long makes you feel nauseous. Apart from the hands themselves, you don't notice anything of interest in the cluster. Break it. Oh, shit. Success! You grip the hand nearest to you and snap it from its roots. Stepping back, you give it a couple experimental swings. Good balance, it might make a decent weapon. Cool! 8-fingered mace. This metallic object resembles a clenched 8-fingered hand attached to a forearm. You snapped it off a metallic tendril in the reef of fallen worlds. It has a decent heft and balance, and its steely material is powerful enough to deal significant damage, but it's only a makeshift weapon and is somewhat clumsy. Pfft. Eat my ass. You aren't happy unless you're breaking things, are you? Okay. That's right, you got a fucking problem with that. Sorry. Alright, bumpity boo, chickity barrel, how do I... This is my weapon right now. Okay, 2, light melee weapon, and this is what? Medium melee weapon. I think I will So wait, we came from over there, so we can go this way. Or up the stairs. Oh, here's something to interact with. Cool.
Now.
A bubbling mass of sludge floats on the surface of the water. Every once in a while, an oily nodule separates from it and hurtles into the sky. You catch momentary glimpses of a muck-coated object in the putrid mass. Examine the sludge. Carefully, you lean closer to the heaving mass. After a moment's study, you notice that the globules rising into the sky always contain something, be it a shining core of untainted seawater or a tiny fish. Quick fingers attempt to retrieve the object trapped in the sludge. Yeah. Right? Do it. Success? Yes! The next time sunlight strikes the object's streaked surface, you're ready. You snatch it from the oily mass and clean it as best as you can. Fresh vapors. Oh, it's a cipher. Heals 10 points of intellect and confers fresh vapors. A simmering jar made of metallic glass. Inside the jar rests a strange miasma. Its vapors sit crystalline and perfectly still until held. The glass vessel twists and writhes when grasped. When you put your ear to the device and listen closely, sounds of weeping and hysterical laughter rise from within. Warm to the touch, once inhaled, the vessel becomes ice cold. The user feels panic, fear, nausea, and then sweet relief. A torrent of emotions akin to getting a full rest. Wow. I'm not sure whether that awful muck is harmless or you are immensely lucky. Either way, do go on poking things, dear. It's quite entertaining. Search for more objects. You spot no other mysterious objects. Wait for more treasures to surface. Minutes tick past as you patiently wait beside the massive sludge. Nothing surfaces. That's hilarious. So, hold on. What is my limit? Cipher limit 2. Okay, well, fuck. I better not find another one then. I guess. Cable connects this spout to the collection device. The nozzle looks like it may have been attached to another machine at the time. Oh. Okay. Interesting. Exactly. This device is collecting black goop from somewhere underwater and pumping it to the nearby spout. That's cool.
All right.
Money, a thing, and a thing. Anything over here? What's that big green fucking monolith? Can I check that out? No. Alright, hell yeah. Touch it. A matte black obelisk floats in midair above the water. It has sharp, curved sides that converge to a glowing tip that brightens or dims with the passing of the bay's faint breezes. Touch it. You raise your hand towards the obelisk. Dull green light wells from within the black stone, fixed on you like a furious eye. I knew someone who did what you're about to do, Algernon says casually. Aeon Priest. A beam came out of the top of that thing and ripped his face off. Made a fancy nightlight out of his crystal necklace, though. But hey, I'm sure you know what you're doing. Oh, hush. At least the poor priest died in service of his curiosity rather than stumbling about the coast complaining and feeling sorry for himself. Go ahead if you must, she tells you. But do be careful. Stretch your crystal shard towards it? Oh, yeah, do that. Carefully, you leave the shard at the obelisk, and a superheated beam lances from the tip of the structure into the crystal, sending vibrations up your arm and suffusing the shard with a warm green glow. Wow. Oh, sick. Did something cool happen to my weapon? Infused crystalline shard. Nice. That's fucking tits. Hell yeah, you scavenged this crystalline shard. Yo, that's hot. You scavenge this shard from the wreckage of the blah blah blah. It's sharpened as an improvised weapon. In the Reef of Fallen Worlds, a superheated beam from a mysterious black obelisk struck the shard, infusing the crystal with obelisk power. This is hot. I like this game. There's so much reading, but whatever. I know how to read, so that's cool. A yawning intake marks the front of a long-dead construct. Inside the metal is pitted black and ancient. Look at this cube thing. Although this cube hovers in the air, you can feel the ground shudder with its vibrations. Touch it. Can I touch it? Oh. What's going on here? Oh shit, what did I just do? Oh shit, what's happening? Who the fuck are these people? Do we have to kill them? I'm scared. Uh-oh. The music doesn't sound good. Quarro, as you step onto what looks like the back of the enormous construct, 4 strangers approach you. In the lead is a wiry man with parallel scars running from cheek to collarbone on the left side of his face. He gives you a welcoming smile, pulling on gray gloves embedded with pulsing lights. He's about to say something to you when he notices Calistige. Cal, I thought you'd sworn off traveling the reef. Found anything tasty? His eyes travel up and down both you and Aliger. Odds and ends, Quarro. Nothing that would interest you, I'm sure. Her words are calm, but she has gone quite still. Yeah, let them talk. His hands curl into a fist at his side. I was wondering specifically if you had seen a falling star that landed near here not too long ago. I've seen nothing of the sort, dear Quarro. Her lips closed thinly. What about your friends? He turns to you. I know most of the draft that scavenges the reef these days. It's a rare pleasure to see a new face. I fell from the sky, yeah. Dominant tides changed, legacy has shifted. I thought so. To reward your honesty, I shall be honest in return. You have 2 choices here. Both of them are dreadful. Silvertide raised a tiny amount. He holds up a finger. First option, you surrender to us, and we convey you to my employer for, well, experimentation and dissection. Frankly, it's not pretty, but there it is. He holds up a second finger. Second option, we kill you and the old man. Try not to kill Calistige and bring your body to our employers anyway. Apologies, sweetness. Aliger, he whirls on Calistige, his face tight with fury. You told him we were here, didn't you? You couldn't resist selling me out one more time. Are you really so paranoid? Darling, take your thugs and go home, otherwise we'll have to rip you to pieces, and the world is already so untidy. Quarro clenches his gloved fist, and a soft whistle pierces the air. What do you say, fallen star? I'm not going anywhere with you. What a shame. Now! Okay, what? I don't know how to fight, so this is gonna be weird. Crisis initiated. Oh, fuck. Overcome Quarro and his mercenaries. Use the glowing turret or purple energy to your advantage. In a crisis, characters take their turns in the sequence shown at the top of the screen. That sequence is determined by each character's initiative. You can improve this score by training the initiative skill. Oh, cool. Not all encounters must be solved with muscle alone. Try using the Numenera artifacts nearby or talking directly to Quarro. How you choose to solve the crisis is up to you, but there will be consequences to your actions. Okay, hold on. I need to check. So they're attacking us. When is it my turn? Talk. Nature pulses, occasional noise distribution, long tube emerges from the plating of the dead construct and winds upwards. The duct terminates in a hollow cone. Every few seconds, a minute drop of green liquid drops out of the end and steams as it strikes the ground. A round dial rests at the base of the cone. Ringed by a thin crust of corroded metal, it appears to be a valve that controls the flow of the noxious substance, but it looks like it hasn't been moved in centuries. Try to turn the valve. I'm strong. Just do it. I got mad skills. Success, please. Yes! With a crack, the valve budges a centimeter. A thin stream of noxious fluid pours from the nozzle and hisses onto the metal surface. You open the valve a bit further and aim the ensuing spray and burn the shit out of Ixa? Oh, I just aim it and spray? Yes. Y'all ready for this? Dun-dun-dun. Alger's body is covered in strange shifting tattoos. He can use the living tattoos ability to pluck a strand of ink from himself, granting him the living tattoos fettle. While the fettle is active, he gains increased bonuses by chaining together similar actions, attacks, healing, applying other fettles. If he uses a different kind of action, he breaks the chain and loses the fettle. This ability does not use his move or his action, so you can activate it and then do something else. Use the ability, press L2 to bring the ability rating. Living tattoos will have to use similar actions multiple turns in a row to chain increasing effects. Using a different kind of action breaks the chain. Training just before the fettle's removed. Okay, similar actions, what do you mean? Attacks, defensive, esoteric, slash that. Okay, do it. Pulling the sliver. Living tattoos, alright. Now I want you to just attack. Yeah, fuck that bitch up. Wham! Cowstage's dimensional husk. What the fuck does that mean? Who exists in multiple realities at the same time? She can use this transdimensional power to teleport between locations using her dimensional superposition ability. Teleporting uses her move instead of her action, so she can activate it and then do something else. Is that in abilities? Dimensional superposition, yeah. Teleport to a point within range, then gain phased. Converts all damage to transdimensional grants 30%. Resistance exception damage to this character is 100%. Okay. Select. Go. Quarro's right here. Right. Go behind him and fuck him up.
Probability shakes at my coming.
Yeah. And now I want you to... Oh no. Attack this motherfucker. Resistance. The resistance stat works the same as armor, but reduces damage from energy, chemical, mental, and transdimensional sources. Okay. Whoop is that? Very good. Belnick. Energy net. Immobilized. You sack of balls. Tar spout. Motherfucker. Going. Where's this motherfucker going? Oh, this motherfucker is.
They have me surrounded.
Alright, my turn. What do I have? The ability to do hide, sucker punch, attack that deals weapon damage plus 3 if the target has a negative fettle. Confer days. Yeah, do it. You gonna fucking sneak up on me, bitch? Nah, fuck this. I'm just fuck your friend up. Just do that. What? How you like that shit, bitch? Well, I have another move? Oh, I can move. Yeah, go. We gotta go. Like, here, on him. Alger. So, just attack this one, bitch. Attack. Boom, you're dead. Boom, you're dead. Items. No items. Who's this? Bad guy. Okay. Go. I can't move? No, I thought I could move. press. Okay, just enter. Alright, Cal Siege. Abilities, what else can you do? I can do that again? Transmission outside. Oh, okay. I gotta do this again. Gotta move me and beat up my friend Quaro. This is busy.
Probability shakes at my coming.
Blue blue. Hey, guess what, Quaro? You're gonna get attacked. Baby. 65. There you go. Shit. Alright, just use it. Okay, did she hit him? Vilnick? What did he just do? Fuck you, Vilnick. Ah, you dickmonger. Oh, you gonna run away? Pussy? Yeah. Fuck. I'm about to die. What is it?
Fine.
Interact with it. There's a shallow depression in the surface here, like many others scattered around the construct. Unlike the others, energy still pulses across this one at random intervals. A slight yet implacable sense of unease emanates with each wave of energy. There's a loose lens at the center of the depression. You think you could redirect the psychic effect somehow more useful, but somewhere more useful, but it'll be tricky to get to it in between the energy pulses. Shit. Redirect the lens to direct the psychic energy at your enemies. Yeah. Shit. Please, please work. Please, please, please. Please? Did it work? Success! With careful time, it's easy to twist the lens in what is hopefully a more favorable position. The lens glows, warning of an impending energy pulse. The field of energy extends outward and worms into eyes, ears, and mouths of Koro's team. Hope drains from their faces, replaced by a numb stare. Then the shallow depression becomes dark and dormant. Everybody got fucked up. I don't know what to do. I need to heal. Boom. Get the fuck out of here. Calistage, Calistage, doing all the Calistage shit that you do. Shit, now what?
In an instant.
Please no. What's he doing? What's he doing? Oh, he healed her. Son of a bitch! Oh, good, you missed. My turn, bitch. I don't know what to do. I need to fucking heal myself. 3 points of intellect, speed. No, I need to heal, like, my body or something. My health? How do I fucking heal my health? Not intellect or speed, no. Or might. Like, I need health. Are you fucking serious? None of this shit is health? Oh, God. Oh my God, so stupid. Please, like, bullshit, hide. It's very retarded. Yeah, just hide. Just fucking hide. And go, like, over here or something.
I'm going.
Alright. You need to die. This is some fucking bullshit. Yeah, now you're dead. That's right, who's next, bitch? Just end turn. Quarrel. What else can I do here? Boom. How you
Taste
like
your
that shit,
death.
bitch? Wait, did that even hurt him? Oh yeah, it did. I don't know, just fucking end. Fuck you. No, tar spout, no. Oh. Where you going, buddy? Wow. Just stay there. I don't want to die. Fuck. Can I get over there? This guy. Do it. Just do it. Hey, like that shit, bitch. Do your thing.
Waveforms collapse into a single reality.
Yeah! And that's crazy shit happened.
Probabilities
Hey, like that shit,
collapsed
bitch. Bill Nick, you're a pain in the ass. No, tar spout. Ah, shit. Kick ass? Yeah, kick his ass. Yeah. Now you kick his ass. What? Alright, then just kick his ass. Why can't I attack him? I'm immobilized or something. Some bullshit.
Like stripping a memory.
And then that's it, I can't attack. Great. Immobilized. Can't attack. I say Cobalt pedals folded for short metal steering cows. Fuck you. Out of range and I can't attack, so whatever, just end turn, okay, fine. Hey, Cora. You're gonna die. You're gonna die.
None can stand before me.
We must get to Quar's corpse. A device implanted in his arm that he used to deactivate the light bridges is ungoverned. Without his input, the bridge relays are fast becoming overburdened. What does that mean? You know an awful lot about how this works. Is this a new trick of yours? She shoots him a deadly glare. Shut up and help disarm it before the entire construct explodes. Oh, is that what that means? Okay. Who's it?
We shall
Get
see.
to it. The strong glass panel embedded in Quar's forearm is stained in blood. Beneath it, lights and indicators flicker in time with the spasms of energy at the deactivated bridge ends. Oh, shit. Oh, I can't do anything. I don't have any fucking moves left. Fuck.
We must find a way to shake this off.
Seriously? He just fucked us. What is that? Oh shit. Events sometimes occur that can change your objective. Killing Quaro has caused the bridge controls to overload, and they will explode if you don't disable them quickly. To get out of this crisis unscathed, you need to interact with Quaro's corpse just to reactivate the light bridges. Oh my god.
Go.
Stomp on the panel, open the panel, figure out how to deactivate the device. Fuck, I don't know. Open it. Shit. Open it. Alright. Success! You slip a fingernail beneath the panel's edge, slip the latch and pry it open. Inside the device you see a gently flashing button. When you press it, the light generators hum back to life. Oh, thank God. Now you're gonna die. Can you move?
Got it.
Now hit him. What? I thought you were gonna hit him. Hit him,
None can stand before me.
bitch. That was a fiasco. I hope you learned something, kid. You can't trust her in any reality. Excuse me, are you suggesting I had something to do with Quarrel's plans? Are you suggesting you didn't? An old friend of yours just happens to be waiting for us, armed and outnumbering us as we return from the greatest find the reef has seen in years? It's too convenient for me. Too convenient by far. They attacked me too, in case you missed that. Well, they didn't kill you. Maybe you intended for them to weaken us so you could stab us in our sleep tonight. He throws up a hand, forestalling Calistege's retard. Look, I don't care. Fact is, I can't trust you anymore, and I wonder why I ever did. This is the last we traveled together. I got enough to worry about without having to watch my back 28 hours a day. You coming, kid, or what? I really don't think she was trying to betray us. She's really going to walk away from each other with this. Yeah, what? Oh, this is just the last needle that crushed the Anine. You haven't seen 1/10 of her depths, not 1/20th. She's a backstabbing bitch, and this mess here only proves it. Always a paragon of class, Alisher, and if I did have any interest in betraying you, do you really think I would need Quaro's help? Yet this is the thanks I get for coddling your pain-rattled, judgmental weakness for so long? I've had enough. Child, I am happy to guide you, but I will not walk another step with this paranoid buffoon. Finally, something we agree on. Kid, she'll chop off your head and spit down your throat. I'll get you where you need to go and let you sleep at night to boot. It's up to you. Why can't can't you work it out? My dear boy, we have been working it out. Alger's petulance, his obstinacy in the face of fact drive me away every day. He might be strong, but he's also thick. I dare you to try traveling with him and see how long you endure. Not as long as I have, I'll wager. His face darkens under her accusations, but he manages a pained smile. As if you're doing me a favor by staying with me? Do you think I don't see your true self in all those echoes around you? That's you, Calistege, every facet of it. Your vivisectionist heart hasn't changed, just the way you present it. I thought I could help you, but I'd rather go with her. Right, well, if you want me, and she doesn't sell you for parts, you can find me in the underbelly, but not with her, mind you. I'll let you know what you've missed, Alisher, and I'm sure you won't be missed, that is. She links her arm possessively into yours. Let's go, child. We have a world to conquer. Man, get the fuck out of here. What is the deal? Whatever. Now you dealt with Quaro and his goons, you can continue on to the city of Sagas Cliffs. To reach the city, cross the bridge at the north end of the platform. Before you go, you may wish to take a moment to recover and search the bodies of your defeated enemies for any equipment or valuables. Okay. Yeah, I want some fucking valuables. Who's this, Quaro? Dude, Quaro, you are such a faggot. I killed the shit out of you. Knave's Card. A playing card shows a grinning Nibovian child. When you rub your dick on it, when you rub your thumb over the card, it triggers an adaptive illusion that changes the face of the card, though you can't discover the trick to getting specific card faces to appear. Dominant Tide Silver. The card frequently changes to one specific face, no matter how you activate it. A lone, four-armed figure wearing heavy armor, plunging into enemy lines with her own army watching from afar. Dominant Tide Silver. What? Silver Tide? I'm confused by that guy. Spray flash, that's what I fucking needed. Ooh, a crossbow, hell yeah, I'll take all that shit. Who's this guy? Shit, it's money. Thick air snare, okay. What's this? A buzzer? A light ranged weapon? Buzzer? Small mechanical device fits comfortably into a human hand. It fires thumbnail-sized, razor-sharp discs. Wow. That's cool. Take it. Oh, these ciphers are killing me. Oh, fuck! You're carrying too many ciphers and have received a cipher sickness fellow. The strange forces emanating from ciphers cause unpredictable but always harmful effects when they interact. To reduce or eliminate cipher sickness, use some of your ciphers, sell them to a merchant, or give them to another party member. Oh my god. How do I? Get rid of it. Examine. Do something with it. How do I give it to her? Fucking bitch. How do I give it to her? Hey, you.
We'll have to give you
Calistege.
some time, John. Perhaps
What are you talking about? Fuck, 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 fuck. How do I fucking... No. 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 Fuck! How do I give it to her? Transfer. Oh. Damn, how many ciphers can she hold? 3, okay. Holy crap! Okay, cool. Okay. What is this? Waller. This is a finely made armband or perhaps a bracelet for something larger than most humans. It's made of ordinary gold and metal and encrusted with worthless gems. If you focus your gaze on it for a few seconds, it disappears from sight and can no longer be felt against the skin. It reappears at its last location once no one is looking there. What? That's fucking weird. Great sword, yeah, take it. Alright, what's this? Bounder, a cipher. Teleport to a position within range. Consumes movement. What's this? Another cipher. Image blocker. What's this? Fleetfoot. What's this? Okay. Okay. I want you to take this and this, and then I'll take everything else. Okie dokie schmokie. So wait, yeah, what about this? Calcified minerals holds the ancient weapon closed. That might be a good thing. So I got some weapons here. So this is 3 physical damage. It's a light melee weapon. Ranged weapon. Heavy weapon. Light weapon. Yeah, do that one. Hell yeah. Crossbow. Oh, the shit. Oh, gun. Cool. A buzzer. Yeah, like a common fucking weapon. Alright, so now the energy pulses have ceased, and whatever power was left in there has been spent. Well, that's a power. If I ever heard one. Let's go down here. Do. Oh wait, no, this one. Hold on. Use this. Did I use it? Oh, on myself.
Thank you. Yes. Now.
This metal door is thick, heavy, and unmarked by time. Double rows of circular bumps run horizontally and vertically across its surface, and it's firmly sealed. Examine more carefully. The metal surface is infused with minuscule threads that are barely visible to the human eye. They only run in straight lines and right angles, and they seem to converge at the circular bumps. Upon closer inspection, you notice that each of the bumps is unique. Some have flat faces, others are actually many-sided polygons, and a few are marked by tiny apertures. Unfortunately, you don't see anything that resembles a knob, keyhole, or access device. You try touching both the flat panels of the door and the small bumps, but nothing happens. Knock on the door. You knock lightly at first, then harder. The door makes no sound at all, nor does it shudder or yield. There's no one home, dear. Hasn't been for thousands of years. She peers at the door. One of my colleagues at the Order claimed that she got inside, but I don't believe her. Hold on. God damn. Examine the door again. Touching the door has no effect. What? I'm confused. What is that? Alright, leave it alone. Whatever. Whatever. A spherical head hangs loosely from the stanchion. A single metal fiber holds it in place. Interesting. Leave the area.
Fine.
Get the fuck out of here. The blue tide represents wisdom, enlightenment, and mysticism. It's the tide of people whose goal is to expand the mind and the spirit. What tide am I doing? Silver tide? How many tides are there? How many tides of Numenera are there? Doodle-doo. Oh, there's a bunch of different tides. A city carved in stone. We seek the order of truth, so we must first reach Government Square. Okay. These tides form the basis of how your actions will be perceived in Torment. It should be noted that none of these concepts are as simple as good or evil. A silver-aligned player may use their fame to help someone. A gold-aligned player might help someone purely for their own benefit. The tides are linked to action, not intention. For example, someone could be falsely compassionate, but it will still be in the sphere of the gold tide. While the tides are linked to all, a very few, like the changing god, are aware of their existence, and even fewer know how to control them. The tidal effect is called the legacy. Tides can be manipulated in many ways with different results. Consciousness transfer, tidal energy. Tides form a major gameplay mechanic. Mechanic. Weird. Okay, so it's like your choices and shit. And I guess it affects the game. Also. What's going on here? Horrified man, what's going on? The man stares at the execution in utter horror. He can't look away. No crime deserves such a punishment. How can this be allowed? What exactly is happening here? A waking nightmare, though they call it an execution. The unfortunate victim is put into a trance that forces him to speak his nightmares. His words spill out of him as a rope of flesh which is wrapped around his body until it crushes him to death. And the indignity doesn't end when the poor wretch finally dies, for when the devourer of wrongs eats his flesh. But then, why is everybody watching this? Because they're animals and they find pleasure in cruelty. Okay. Interesting. Codex entry. Pacing the edges of the crowd is a paunchy old soldier with swaggering stride. At the moment, however, his jauntiness seems overshadowed by worry. And he alternates between watching the execution and searching the crowd as if looking for a miracle. Then his eyes light on you. I say, you look like someone who believes in justice. How'd you like to help a poor soul wrongfully condemned?
How'd you like to help a poor
What do you need?
soul wrongfully condemned?
Oh, he just said it. Sorry. I don't need anything, but my friend there on the platform is dying. The nightmares his executioners have induced in him spill from him with every word he speaks and wrap around him like a snake. I know there are but a few strands around him now, but in a few days' time they'll choke the life out of him. I cannot imagine a more horrible way to die. Well, that's not true. I have an imagination that would shame a sailor. You'll need to be swift and willing to hold justice above law, but there's a way to save him if you'll hear me out. Why is your friend being executed? A misunderstanding, he says, waving a dismissive hand. Riss and I were hired to deliver some expensive brandy to an out-of-town buyer. He breathes a sigh, waited with disgust. Would you believe that bottles were stuffed with state secrets? Riss was accused of selling information to the enemy of the Second Cliff. They call him a traitor. It was his privacy. The poor lad had no idea what was in there. But you did. Well, there's a place for talking about what I know and what I don't, and this is not that place. Why aren't you up there with him? Luck? I was taking a piss when they came for him. Went through the back window and scampered up to the roof. I watched poor Riss being led away from my hiding spot. I swore I'd get him free. I hope it's a promise I can keep. Who are you? Captain Lanchin Tibir. Retired. Extremely retired. Once a soldier of fortune, now it's plaything. But my story can wait. Saving Riss's life comes first. And what's your plan? A simple one, but it requires nerve. Listen. It would be nothing for someone of your noble demeanor to masquerade as a city official and ask to see the council clerk for an archived copy of an old stay of execution. Once you have it, I'll write out a fresh one and add Riss's name. Then we'll present it to the overseer and poor Riss will be set free. There you have it, a foolproof, risk-free plan. It sounds extremely risky. Nonsense. It couldn't be simpler. Just be calm, confident, and wear a winning smile. He gives you a winning smile. Wouldn't it be simpler to talk to the crowd and convince them to rise up and free him? Well, you're welcome to try, friend, but leave me out of it. Sagas Cliff's crowds are notoriously bloodthirsty, and the execution officials are not known for their sense of humor. You might regret it later, and you'd be alone when you did. Sorry, but I can't help you. Have a heart! Can you really walk away when it's in your power to save a man's life? No. Intrigued woman. This woman listens intently to the ravings of the man on the nearby dais, hanging down every word, and she gives you a hesitant smile. Can you understand it? I know he's speaking great wisdom, if only I could decipher it. Alright, bye. You people are fucking weird. Canadu. This large, bald, broad-shouldered man turns to face you. You freeze. It's not his dark cloak or his sledgehammer. It's that beneath his mustache and goatee, he's so ugly that he'd scare his own mother in a dark alley. He gives you an abrupt nod, and you get the direct impression that here stands a man who enjoys the boredom of standing guard in the company of his own thoughts. Nothing to see here till you pay El Ginto, he says when it's clear you aren't moving on. With that, he returns his gaze to the distant sea. Where's El Ginto? He jerks his chin at the man in the pointy hat nearby. What's that thing? It's a Nycthemaron. It's a Nycthemaron. El Ginto will tell you about it if that's what you want. How'd you get it? Long story. Oops. That falls into silence. Apparently that wasn't an introduction, but an excuse. He sees you staring. El Ginto, he's the talker. I watch the beast. How does the cage hold it? I don't know. El Ginto built it. Where's El Ginto again? He stares at you a moment, then jerks his chin at the man in the pointy hat. Alright. Wait, how'd you get it again? Ask El Ginto, he's the talker. Where do you and your partner come from? He exhales softly through his nose, giving you the distinct impression that you're making him work harder than he'd like. Lorik, a city in the beyond, packed with blood-mad priests, giant razor cats, and drit. Lots of drit. His weighted gaze seeks the horizon. I don't miss it, but El Ginto does. If you want stories, he's the one to ask. It seems like El Ginto does all the work in your partnership. He should. Scowling at you, revealing for a moment the roiling temper beneath the man's determined calm. He gets the larger share. I'm just the muscle. He's the... He trails off, searching for the words. Wait for him to finish. Legacy has shifted. Blue tide. Oh, he's the handyman, Kennedy says at last. He's handy at building stuff, wrangling extra shins from the gawkers, charming free food. He works hard. I pay him an extra share so I don't have to, so I have time to think. I have a few questions about the city. Ask someone who lives here. We're not experts on any city, and we don't want to be. I'm looking for someone who can repair a device. He's already shaking his head before he finished speaking. We don't know anyone like that. We aren't from around here. Where's El Jinto again? I already told you twice. You know what? I'm gonna let you search for him on your own. I'm busy here. Okay. Oh, shit. In front of you is a weary traveler whose grim visage is mostly obscured by a pointy hat. Upon closer inspection, the lines on his face indicate he has seen much and has many tales to tell. Hello there, friend. Here to see the Numenera? My friend in the cage over there, or are you just looking to spend a word or two? I'm looking... Canada told me a little about your past. Do you have any interesting stories? Interesting? Well, I'll let you be the arbiter of that, friend. What would you like to hear about? He said you're coming from a place called Lorik. Ah, my former and future home. Canada and I were born in the gray outskirts of the city. I'd like to say we were childhood friends, but we weren't. We simply came to know each other through what we lost. El Jinto takes a breath. Breathing. The priest of the million gods of Lorik wandered the streets seeking sacrifices, you see, and opposing them is a sin. In our first 10 years they claimed our parents, then our friends, and then one day a pockmarked priest came for me. He hauled me up the glass-paved streets. I wept and screamed, but the faithful and the fearful turned away. I'd almost lost hope when I heard the hammer scraping on the glass. Up charged Canada, bearing his father's sledgehammer. With a shout, he dashed the priest's brains from his skull, and we ran. He shuts his eyes, smiling. We've been running ever since, but we will return one day, I think, armed for the occasion. What happened after you escaped Lark? Years of struggle. Years without measure. After Lark, we lived from meal to meal, eating only what we could steal. Canada grew into his strength, and I grew, but less obviously. I began studying, you see. I read ancient texts about my lost home and the sickness that possesses it to this day. I thought about how I could cure it, he says, clenching his fist. So we began exploring ruins. We sold the broken relics we found for food and equipment, kept the interesting ones for future study. To tell you all the adventures we had in those days would take almost as many years as I've been alive, if not more. If that doesn't make sense to you, you've not traveled far into the depths of the beyond. Some of the ruins there lie outside time, and we saw... We searched countless places for the components I needed for my trap. Yes, the one our guest is contained in, and we headed east into the Clock of Kala. Whoa, what's the Clock of Kala? A ring of mountains between here and the beyond, a land of glorious and lethal wonders. I'm looking forward to going through it again. We easily spent a decade searching for the base of the peaks for the final parts of the trap. At last we heard a rumor. A horde of ghosts occasionally stampeded through the lands of Kala, bearing relics and smearing reality in their wake. This last detail was what interested me. He raised a finger. I created a device, a bell of sorts, that would attract the ghosts' attention, and when they came, there stood Canada, hammer ready. The bell drew them, you see, but it also made them more real. Canada waded into the ghosts, striking them down. The rest fled, but we had found the materials I needed for the trap. The trap I'll use to capture a god. A wild smile spreads across his face. Beneath Lorik lies a mad being who demands the sacrifice of mothers, fathers, and children. Once we free our guest here, we will return home with this trap. We'll use it to kidnap a god or die trying. Thank you for taking an interest in an old man's stories. I'd like to return the favor. Normally, we charge quite a bit for visits to the Numeneran's cage. You, my friend, can see it for free. Sick! He gives Canada a complicated whistle. The big man raises his eyebrows, rolls his eyes, and nods. A complicated whistle? I have some questions about your Numenera. He's far from mine, friend. As you'll likely see if I get too close to his cage. Go on, ask your questions. What is it? It's a biomechanical union of stubborn curiosity and frothing malice. Who made them, no one can say, but they cannot be trusted or befriended. Cross their paths or thwart their incomprehensible whims, and they'll kill you if they can. You said it's a he. Is it a male? Could be female, or genderless, or many-gendered. Who can say? I have our friend imprisoned, and I feel better about that fact if I don't call him it. How'd you capture it? I suppose you could blame luck. Little early to call it good or bad, though. Huh. I was working on the trap we've spoken so much about in a valley through some nameless ruin. Canada was off hunting for dinner, and I work in a daze. Always do, when I'm concentrating. Near sunset, the trap was still in pieces, and I heard Canada roaring my name. I turned just in time to see our guest bearing down on me. The creature's volley of molten energy cracked off the personal barrier I'd left active while building the trap, but I knew it couldn't hold. Then Canadu leapt off the valley edge into the Numeneron's back, bashing it with his hammer. It shrieked, and then night fell, and the creature went still. I worked, a touch frantically, I admit, to finish the trap. It hadn't been designed for our guest, but as you can see, it worked. How'd you get him into the city? A fair question, but a longer answer, and not as interesting as I'd like, so let's just say that the trap is more collapsible than it appears. Really? How'd you capture him? What do you plan on doing with him? We're likely to release it and run as if every kind of demon in the world is after us. We're not trappers, see, we're explorers, and we're only in this to save up some coin for a journey across a long patch of ground. He rubs the back of his neck. Not that our motives make much difference to our guest. He'll want to boil our skins once we let him go, and I can't say I blame him. I want to ask about something else. I'm looking for someone who can repair a complicated device. You must be in desperate shape if you're patrolling the circus talking to strangers. Do you have a piece of the device? Might be that I can offer my opinion. Yeah, this shard. He accepts the crystal shard with great care, turning it over and over in his cracked hands. In the silence you catch a hint of wood smoke and notice that his eyes have turned slate gray. Living crystal, seeking a greater whole, still warm, maybe alive, maybe thinking. He hands the shard back to you with a touch of regret. Interesting piece of tech, but not one I know much about. Sorry, friend. Try asking around some more. Cool. Alright, thanks. Hey, I want to see the thing. El Ginto says I can visit the thing. Good. It's clear he doesn't understand why you're still talking to him. Okay. It's pissed.
Yes.
Interact. The cage in which the creature floats is a simple frame that contains a shimmering, nearly transparent cylinder of energy. It emits a low hum, barely audible, that sets her teeth on edge. The container is a delicate filigree of ornate materials with no apparent controls, but surely they must be hidden somewhere in the traceries and protrusions of the wirework. You approach the cage cautiously. The monster within looks like a fungal blob made with a muscular ichthyoid. Its multiple tentacles terminate in syringes. Holy shit, yeah they do. I didn't even notice that. What the fuck? Needles and injectors. This mass sits atop and is integrated with a floating orb of some kind. It seems to be both mechanical and biological. Yeah, what the fuck? With one system flowing smoothly into the next, a creation from some mad nightmare. Yeah, it's weird. The energy field darkens protectively and automatically as the creature throws itself against its walls, thrashing and striking mindlessly with its needle-tipped tentacles. The darkening is almost a strobe-like. Even as you watch, one of its tentacles coils back and blasts furious plasma at the walls of its cage. The cage holds, but the shield's dim to prevent any radiation from the blast from escaping. Oh, okay. Examine the cage. The cage appears to be made of a mixture of synth, spun strong glass, and a lightweight metal, intricately embroidered to create mind-warping patterns, evoking and strange. Energy shifts and flickers among the crevices, somehow being shaped by the form of the materials. Your closer examination reveals a small panel worked cunningly into the frame by the cage. Some of the filigrees here are worn and smooth, as if slowly eroded by friction. Perhaps these are the controls. Really? Just like... no, don't touch it. How did you come to be here? It draws away from the edge of the energy field for a moment, as if gathering its thoughts, and then launches itself at you, rebounding off the deceptive solidity of the cage. Its tentacles flail wildly, the needles at the tips glinting and oozing. What can you tell me of this place? A dim light builds underneath the Numenera, the orb at its base glowing brighter and brighter. Two tentacles stroke it, and they pull out a streamer of bright lightning. They stretch it between themselves, building in intensity, and then they hurl it at you. The walls of the cage darken instantly when the lighten again. You see the monster within, flailing and crashing fruitlessly against its invisible walls. What are you? If anything, the creature redoubles its efforts to strike at you, its limbs a flurry of rage. Can you understand me at all? The creature redoubles its efforts, blah blah blah. Alright, I'm leaving it. Yeah, fuck off. And the howling doorway, are you tripping? Just make it up as I go, pal, no worries, it's all fun. Okay. Where should I go? I do not know. Hey, listen. Okay. Can you tell me about the Order of Truth? I do hope we will go there soon. I have some papers to collect, and it would do well for you to meet my colleagues. Adventurers and deep thinkers all. Unlike some, though, Allegerners, of course. A dear example of why we continue to strive as ardently as we do. Uh-huh. You have your charms, and there are a fair few more than most. I suppose I could say I enjoy your company, but we're beyond such trivial panderings, of course. What's your story? Oh, you know, this and that. Lady raised in high society becomes renowned intellectual, goes on to humiliate her peers, etc. Of course, I am exceptional, but my story is less so. It would bore you to tears, no doubt. What is it you hope to accomplish by traveling with me? So direct! I shan't be coy either, then. Your sire, the changing god, was a nano of surpassing ability. Your search for answers is likely to cross his trail at multiple points. He must have researched the datasphere at some point, and I hope to study his work to address my own particular situation. I am what you might precisely call a nascent cross-dimensional hive mind. What I must decide now is whether to continue this experiment. My sisters, you see, they are a blessing and a curse. One moment... Hush, you know it's true. I've thought it, so therefore you've thought it. We have no secrets from one another. You see, even in my thoughts we are not alone. We seek, let us call it, closure of some sort, of our association or of our individuality. Uncovering your sire's knowledge of the datasphere could likely determine my direction. If we cannot find a suitable home in the datasphere, we may have to terminate this process, but that presents pitfalls of its own. Who are all of these echoes of you? They are me. We are a part of each other, sisters across infinite realities. We share our experiences and power. What's that old saying? That experience brings wisdom? I must be the wisest person in Saga's Cliffs, the wisest across countless worlds. Ha 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 ha! Blah blah blah. Blah blah blah. Tell me about the Mechos again. They're my sister selves, each representing a different Calstige in a different reality. We have no secrets from one another, and thereby learn from each other's lives and mistakes. What's the data sphere? Such curiosity. Very well, let me indulge you. Some prior world or worlds seeded the atmosphere and near space with a vast network of computational informational devices. I believe the ancients used this network to communicate with each other at great distances and perhaps across space and through dimensions. It is this latter application that especially interests me, as you might imagine. If I can find a structure within that space that enables a more direct mind-to-mind communication that will allow a true joining with my sisters, well, I should be happy to transcend this flesh, though it has served me well. But is such a thing possible, or even advisable? These are questions I have not found answers to yet, if such answers even exist. Where did you grow up? I don't care, blah blah, that's all. Let's go. Town crier, what you got to say? A star falls into the reef. Hundreds witness a spectacle. It was me. That was me. Oh, I can see. You can see the fucking map opening up. That black shit. The fog. It like moves, but then when I move back, it stays there. That's cool. Autochthon. Do not stare at people. Gorga is not polite. Did you call me Gorga? The fuck? Embedded in the cliff wall is a massive structure that clearly predates the buildings that surround it. Cool. What's that thing? Mimion, and who are you? Casmine? As you approach the duo, you see they're arguing heatedly but quietly. The petite woman turns toward you. Her hair is unusual, a light, almost yellow color, and her bright eyes dominate her pretty face. Excuse me, sir. My friend and I were having a discussion, and... Her eyes fall upon your tattoo, and her breath catches audibly in her throat. Her partner is an unnaturally tall man, gaunt and sour-faced. His voice sonorous with fingers... Whoa. Sorry. His voice sonorous, with fingers that twitch and weave through strange contortions. Occasional light sparks in the air as he does. He turns to you and opens his mouth to speak, registers your tattoo and closes it again. His throat bobs for a moment and he says, "It's an honor." She sighs. Must we indulge in this religious nonsense? Your opinion of our beliefs is noted. We have discussed our differences with you, and you made your position quite clear. Thank you. Anger etched on his face. He collects himself. If I might impose on your time for a moment, will you tell me about your tattoo? How did you shape it? Do you know why it differs from the others? I don't know much about my tattoo. What does it mean to you? You have been touched by the changing god. His mind sheltered in you. He shared his dreams, his power with your mind, and when he left your body, he created you. The tattoo marks you, all of you, with his symbol. It grows and changes as you mature so that it becomes your symbol instead. There are more of you. They call you Cast-Off. She cocks her head, studying you. You're welcome here, revered one. We stand ready to serve as we can. Have you any questions for us? Who the fuck are you? He considers your words before answering a thoughtful pause. I am Mimion. I am one of the leaders of the cult of the Changing God in Sagas Cliffs, and my primary duty is as Chief Archivist. My colleague is Casmine. She is responsible for the day-to-day administration of our encampment. Do you know anything about the sorrow? She shudders and touches herself ritualistically on the forehead and on her lips. A monster of deepest nightmare. I have heard that it wants you dead. Every one of the Holy One's creations, all dead. I don't know why, but it hates you. Can you tell me about my sire? You mean the most accomplished inventor of our time? The hero of Sagas Cliffs? The man who dodged death itself? The Time Weaver? The man who destroyed the Tabat? Oh, we have so much to say, but perhaps we should wait for another time. Tell me about the Changing God. An inspiration to inventors and seekers after knowledge, rather than meekly accepting his impending death and the immeasurable loss to posterity his passing would have occasioned. We found a way to continue his work. He is a model for those who value wisdom and insight. What? Those who value. Do you know about the resonance chamber? Rumor and conjecture, nothing more. Idle speculation from those who wish to pretend to knowledge of your sire's motivations, passed along as fact. He leans out to touch you. Have you seen it? Do you know where it is? What it does? The residence chamber's in the Reef of Fallen Worlds under a broken dome. Truly? Oh man, we should organize an exploratory party. I just think we might be among the first to touch it. And perhaps to learn something from it. His voice is a gentle rebuke. We should focus on uncovering and celebrating his hidden accomplishments, Cass, not prancing around his existing creations like superstitious savages. And with that, an epiphany seems to break in his mind. I do not recognize you. You do not match any descriptions we have recorded. She snaps her fingers as if she is finally figuring out a mystery. Wait, let me remember your face. Oh my, you're new. Are you the changing god? Can it be? She reaches out to touch her sleeve and pulls her hand back quickly. No, I am not the changing god. He nods, satisfied. As I thought, you are a cast-off, one of his children. He touches you with his long-fingered hand as if in consolation. There is no shame in such a thing. Many cast-offs have come to our attention, and some of them have sought to deceive us so that they might seem more important. He smiles softly. If you are as new as we suspect, it is better for us, to know the truth of your existence than to bluster and lie. Crestfallen, she touches your shoulder. Are you sure you're not? No, why would you lie about that? With a noticeable effort, she wrenches herself into optimism and she chirps. But you're new, aren't you? You're new. Have you decided what you'll do? What you'll be? Your sire's other children have done amazing things. Amazing. And no doubt, you will as well. He lays a hand on her shoulder and his voice is low and cautionary. Cass. She looks away from you for a moment, swallowing sudden tears, and she says, We have a request for you. He gestures toward the clock behind him. Dark figures circumambulate these clock faces. I theorize that your sire's creation of the time shields that protected this city established a connection with his future selves. Given this, we believe those figures may be cast-offs, or ghosts of cast-offs perhaps, the living shells of the bodies your creator has worn previously. His fingers shrug eloquently for him. The clock is unmoored in time, you see. We do not have a knowledge sufficient to investigate, but you might. You have a connection with he who created the clock. You should be able to align it with the present time and uncover who these figures are. A gentle, rare smile appears on his fucking face. If you cannot, at least you will increase our store of knowledge. She smiles bravely, looking between Mimi and you, and says, and then we can answer the questions you must have, right, ma'am? How do you fix the clock? We have tried. I have appealed to the Order of Truth. I have spoken with eminent seekers of knowledge. We have sent for wisdom from as far as the Steadfast, a great achievement, you must agree. None have given us an answer. We believe your sire created the device, or had a hand in it, perhaps. Dismay dances across his fingers. How is that possible? His hungry-eyed compatriot steps in. Perhaps you can find an answer where others have failed, and then we can help you. You will have our boundless gratitude, revered one.
I'll remember that.
Alright. What do I gotta do?
Yes.
This complex machine towers over you. Its purpose is unclear, but the three circular faces set into the ground remind you of clocks. Something is wrong with the machine, however. It's partially transparent, shimmering in the air when you look directly at it. The clock faces seem to show several different times at once. Humanoid silhouettes ripple beneath the central clock face. One places his hand against the face as though it were a glass wall. They seem to be watching you. Examine the machine. The towering mechanism wavers in the air. Similar to Calstige, it appears to be in several states at once, though all of the machine's states are in the exact same location. You can't touch it either. Your hand passes right through the structure. As you pull your hand away, a memory strikes you as powerfully as if someone took a club to your chest. You're working at the clock. It's no longer transparent, but perfectly solid. There's a noise behind you, so they've come, the three traitors. They think to surprise you, but through the powers of the clock you have foreseen this moment. There is the faintest sound of metal sliding against leather. You slap a hand on the central clock face, activating the clock's arcane powers. You're not sure what it will do to them, but it's better than what they'll do to you. There's a flash. Arcs of energy stretch out from the clock, over your shoulders, to your would-be attackers. You don't see what happens to them, but they quickly disappear along with their screams. As the last shreds of the memory fade, a swirl of energy passes through your body. Cold barbs prick every muscle. Suddenly, tidal forces arc from the clock to three ancient devices in the cultist encampment. The clock recognized something inside you, or maybe vice versa. Either way, you have inadvertently activated the nearby devices. Okay. The energy trapped within the discs inset at the top of the pillars that line this wall appears to pulse slightly differently as people walk in front of them. Why? Philethus. A creature floats before you, hidden inside the bulk of its armor, cloth robes, unmoving and unmoved by your presence. Exactly who or what the thing is, man or machine, mutant or monster, is impossible to discern. Its glass face reveals nothing but your reflection. Its mechanical voice really reveals nothing at all. You recall that this creature is known as a Philethus, but you don't know anything about that. I don't. Exquisite. The Philethus grates in greeting, perhaps, or perhaps lost in its own inscrutable thoughts. You are exquisite as well. Gold tide. A sound like the grinding of drit-filled gears is the thing's only response. For a moment that stretches uncomfortably, you feel the cold scrutiny of the Philethus upon you. At last it speaks again. It is the nature of flags to fade. The Philethus's implacable glass gaze bores through your skin and sees more than others do, and it seems to be seeking something from you. Tell me about yourself. Oh, shit. Success, yes. The Avitral whistles while it runs, a fearful sound, perhaps even for the Avitral. Apparently this is what passes for effusiveness in a Philethus. Please, tell me about yourself in a way I can understand. No. Oh, requires trained title affinity skill. Force it to tell you about itself. Do you know anything about the sorrow and the residence chamber? Silence lingers long until at last the Philethus speaks. I know it shall be three. I know the first cannot be trusted. I know one changes as you change. I know they seek an undoing. Its glass face storms, but the Philethus says no more. Whoa. What do you want from me? The Philethus ponders silently, until at last it asks, when you face quarrel, why did you not step first with your left foot? Balance. The Philethus accepts your answer in silence, then after a long pause replies, in his vault, the Cloven One reads from his great books to his disciples. He sleeps and awakens and has forgotten his place in the grimoire. He begins anew. The book is a part of him. He has no legs and takes no steps. It is his own self from which he reads. It is his own self that is incomplete. It is his own self that binds him in the vault of his own mind. You've been following me? In memory, cause follows effect. In rain, the colors run. A long rumble suggests that the Philethus has more to say, but nothing emerges. Do you know anything about the clocks? In the thing? The one clock? The Philethus' face whirls with vortices of energy, and a great groaning of gears resounds from its hidden form. This struggle complete, its face goes blank once more, and it speaks. A Navarrene merchant wanders the beyond, laden with silks and ciphers and shins without a drop to drink. He bears a water clock, but dares not break it. It is his time. What more do you want from me? When the Philethus at last answers, its mechanical voice seems to creak. You did not accept your fall. When you are served the bitter root, will you eat it? Yes. Whew, interesting. The Philithus is silent, showing neither satisfaction nor dismay at your response. Do you have any more questions for me? Its words so rushed they almost jumble together. The Philithus asks, when you stood in the place of shifting floors, which way did your shadow fall? Behind me. A long rumble echoes from inside the Philithus's robes, changing at last to words. In the village of Thome, it is written, the eremite Allegeiser descended deep into the darkness, for he could not bear to see his shadow. What? Do you have still more questions? No. Why are you so interested in my choices? They are not yours. What do your questions mean? What do you want? Yes, the single flat word lingers in the air until the Philithus adds, what is the answer? Perhaps the thing wants you to answer your own question. You want to know everything. The Philithus accepts your answer silently, giving no clue as to what passes within its impervious robes, behind its impenetrable mask. At last the thing replies, all is as one, but one is not as the rest. Tell me more about the clock. It shall call out the hour with the tolling of a great bell. All shall prosper, the threads shall merge. Farewell. As you step away, the Philithus swivels to keep its glass face trained upon you. Exquisite. That was really interesting. That was really fucking interesting.
I'm ready.
Interact with it. As you approach the device, Circus Minor changes around you. People are dressed differently and speak differently. Whole new structures appear, including an enormous building rising from the edge of the square. You look down at the device. A series of images flit across its screen. They don't appear related to the changes around you. You see faces of other people and places, all of them familiar. Look more closely at the changes. Circus Minor looks almost completely different. All the people are dressed strangely, and though they speak the truth, they use many terms and phrases that you don't understand. The square has changed as well. All the tents are gone. The buildings are more colorful and less weathered. One building in particular rises from the edge of the square, a tower of purple rock, some 50 stories high. A mural is painted on the side, though you can't see the details from here. Examine the images on the device. As soon as you focus on them, you feel a warmth on your head where your tattoo is. The images respond to your thoughts, slowing and changing at your whim. It's something about your body that allows you to do this, which perhaps means that only you can even see the images. You immediately recognize the pictures as pieces of memory, specifically the 3 memories you saw back in the fathoms of your fucking mind. Oh, wow, okay. Underwater City. The memory is recent. 2 men, both with tattoos like your own, are in an underwater city searching for something. The denizens of the city chase them from their quarry and immediately surround and capture them. As you review the memory, you get a strange feeling in your mind that you can only describe as a query. The device wants something from you. Suddenly you remember, the memories in the device are possibilities, but you can lock one of the memories here so it is the only one that displays. You don't remember what purpose that served, though. Yeah, do that one. Images of the 2 men in the underwater city are now the only images that play on the surface of this device. They search for something, are chased, and then are captured over and over again in an endless loop. Alright.
Fine.
Well, do it. A strange feeling comes over. Oh, as if someone were sneaking up on you in the corner of your eye. When you look, there's no one there. It feels like something is different, though, but you can't put your finger on what. A series of images flits across the fucking surface of the fucking device. They don't appear related to the changes around you. You see faces of other people and places all of them familiar. Look at the memory in the lush valley. Somehow you know the memories from a long time ago, centuries ago probably. A man and a woman, both with tattoos like your own, are surveying a lush, secluded valley for some purpose you cannot recall. Whatever, yeah, go ahead. The images of the man and the woman in the valley are now the only images that play across the surface.
Of course.
Do it. As you approach this device, circus miners thrown into chaos. Buildings are on fire, people are screaming and running for their lives, while armored soldiers hunt them. None of them seem to pay any attention to you, though. It's some kind of vision, not reality. You glance down at the device. A series of images flits across the screen. Somehow you know this memory is ancient. It might have occurred 1,000 years ago. A man and a young girl race through the streets of Saga's cliffs. All around them, the city is attacked by terrible people. The Tabat, you recall. The man takes them to an ancient machine somewhere in the city. Then he and the girl disappear. Yeah, do that. The images of the man and the girl, the only images on the fucking thing. As you lock the third image, the air around the device trembles. The other devices in the square begin to glow, as though they are about to do something. Just as suddenly, the glow on all three devices fades. The image you had locked to this device flickers, and then the three memories flit across its surface once more. The device seems to have reset itself. Smash the device open. Alright, leave it alone.
Now.
People are dressed differently.
Let's go. Fine.
Aha! As soon as you lock the third image, a final surge of energy arcs through the air from the device to the clock itself. The clock shines for a moment, then becomes solid, fixed into a single state. At the same time, the device in front of you goes dark. The images disappear, as does the strange view of the city. I win! Give me the fucking money, baby!
I'll remember that.
So, I win. Money. You fixed the clock! I knew you could do it, I knew it! She shoots a triumphant smile at Mimian. You must tell us what you saw. Who were those figures? Were they cast-offs? What did they say? Were you able to retrieve them? Patience, Cass. We must first congratulate our guest. He turns to you. Masterfully done, revered one. A performance worthy of your sire. He bows gravely to you. You are most welcome here. He frowns. Unfortunately, your task is not entirely complete. We told you our price. That decision stands. Return with you the knowledge you promised. Huh? What do I have to do? Casimir, Mimi, and Nicholas, in exchange for their knowledge, they have asked me to discover the identity of mysterious figures trapped inside the clock. The clock appears to be unmoored in time. When I tried to interact with the clock, tidal forces erupted from my body and brought several nearby devices to life. I've realigned the clock with the present time. Now I can interact with the main clock face and investigate the trapped figures. Oh, okay. Go. The machine is solid now. Each of the three clock faces shows a single time, though none of them point to any time measurement that you understand. You lean closer to the central clock face. Three shadowy figures still lurk within, their features almost discernible now. Suddenly the figures surge out of the clock toward you. Intense pressure strikes your head like a steel spike, then everything goes down. Oh, fuck. What the fuck? Bonded items are a special type of equipment that inflict penalties alongside powerful bonus. What the fuck is this? Ooh, it's some MC Escher shit. I like it. I like it. Villon, Kamos, and Diviatiku. Hey. The three figures before you are disoriented. They don't even seem to notice you at first. All three of them have a tattoo like yours, cast-offs. What befell us? The woman is dressed in powerful-looking armor. Her face bears several scars, yet her eyes have the innocence of a child. Did he do something? Are we still in the clock? I do not believe so. The second figure is tall, dressed all in black. Its height is exaggerated further by a violet fish-like crest on the top of its head. Its large yellow eyes are squinted, scanning all around. There was a man outside the clock, but it wasn't. It was him! The third figure points at you. He's small, wiry, and tense as though he expects danger. He carries a shield on his back. He's a cast-off, he says, looking at your tattoo. I can't say I recognize him, though. What happened just now? We were ingested into your head. I saw it. How is that possible? He eyes you suspiciously. Who are you? I'm a cast-off like you. Gold Tide. She raises one eyebrow significantly higher than the other. I've met scores of cast-offs, yet you are new to my eyes and ears. How can that be? Diviatiku is the youngest cast-off I am aware of. Have you remained hidden since your birth? I think we might have been trapped in that clock for centuries, Kamos. Something about it messed with our perception. The Vargellan looks up at the ceiling, or where the ceiling would be if there were one. Time is an illusion. How long is the wrong question. It turns its enormous bulbous eyes to you. What is this place? Where are we? Somewhere in my mind, I think. The Vargellan shuts its eyes, 6 nostrils open wide as it inhales deeply. Yes, perhaps you're right. Our consciousnesses were ripped from our bodies when the changing god activated his clock. Then, when you appeared, it happened again. Our minds ripped from their chronal prison. It looks to its friends. I cannot be certain, but I believe this is part of some vast mental construct. Your mental construct. What? You mean we just went from one prison to another? You did this! If this is your mind, then let us out! Why did the changing god trap you in the clock? Why can't you get us out? I don't know how to get us out of here. Relax, friend, brother. Whether for days or centuries we survived that clock, we will survive this. If time is an illusion, then it is not our enemy. We will find a way. Why did the changing god trap you in the clock? Yes. The three of us once worked alongside our sire, helping him with his research after he'd brought the Order of Truth to Sagas Cliffs. We saw him for what he was, selfish, arrogant. He doesn't care about us, not a single one of his children. He crosses his arms and looks away bitterly. All of his projects were always about him. He didn't care if anyone got hurt in the process. We betrayed him. Unlike the others, the Vargellan looks you directly in the eye. We meant to stun him, to capture him before he could escape to another body, but he was too quick for us. He activated the clock, tearing our minds from our bodies and trapping us eternally. I don't see any way out. The Vargellan stretches its neck, putting its face within a handspan of yours. He can stretch his neck that far? It seems to be examining you. Then it says, your mind, only you have the power to change. What he's trying to say is that this place was created for your body, or perhaps by your body. Our sire placed within each of us unique gifts and abilities. For example, I've never heard tell of another cast-off who could trap consciousnesses the way that you have. She gives you a warm smile. He would not have created this space for you without also giving you a means by which to move through it. Think, what other gifts did our Creator bestow upon you? I chose an aspect of myself when I was born, deep in the heart of this labyrinth. Is that it? Yeah, is that it? Divyataku shakes his head. I can see what you speak of, it says, and you get a momentary impression that its eyes can see through you. This aspect describes you, just as I am Varjellen. Vilon is observant, and Kamos is foolish. I object to that characterization. He's not wrong, and you know it. At her wounded look, he raises his hands placatingly. It's the truth. Anyway, you've gotten us out of twice as much trouble as you get us into. The Varjellen speaks to you. These aspects are descriptors of who we are, but they are not us. That you chose your aspects says quite a lot, but I do not believe that is enough to set us free. Oh. Excuse me. I built a path out of a deep fathom in my mind by recovering memories I had lost. Perhaps if there were any memories here to recover. He curls his lips and looks around. Maybe I just don't know what memories look like, but I don't see anything. It would seem we are in agreement, Vilon. Let me look around. Don't give up hope, friend, brother. I don't fucking see anything. I'm looking around and there ain't nothing here. It's just MC Escher. The three of them mutter to each other, looking around this strange space as they try to find another way out. Well met, brother. Have you discovered anything new about our predicament? I'm a jack of all trades. So am I, kid, and yet we're both still stuck in here. You see, that's just the type of thing that you do. It was a path you chose, not something our sire gave you, nor a means to freedom. I don't think I have the ability you're talking about. You must! We each have our gifts given to us by our sire for a specific purpose. His purpose, of course, but a purpose nonetheless. She presses a hand to her chest. They say, for example, that, foolish though I may be, I have 9 magical gifts of speech. That is not something I chose nor learned, but it is who he made me to be. He rubs his hand along the edge of his shield. I am a master of defensive arts. Our sire learned them when he was in my body, probably built my body to excel at it. I wouldn't call it a gift, but it's me, yeah. I am one with the shadows, I live in them, I breathe them. This is not some esotery I discovered, but a unique ability our sire chose for me while he was in my body. She gives you a kind smile. The gift is in you. Perhaps you have just forgotten. Our sire wouldn't have made this place for you without granting you the power to get out. Focus. Find the answer inside yourself. Shut your eyes. You rifle through your memories, past everything you actually remember to those memories you didn't create for yourself. There must be a key or a door, anything that would help you to escape this fathom of bullshit in your mind. Just as you're about to give up, you find something, a cluster of sparks, nascent abilities deep within the core of your being. You sense the abilities to speak eloquently, to use a shield with a master's skill, to lurk among the shadows as though they were home.
I'm ready to learn something new.
Your travels have left you more experienced, allowing you to advance. This will grant you a choice of improving your statistics, skills, or abilities. To do this, open your character sheet. None of these seem particularly suited to creating a path out of this place, but as you sift through them, you know that you're trapped here. Not because it is some puzzle your sire left for you to solve, but because you are not yet whole.
I'll remember that.
Damn, I wonder how long that's been unattached. She ruffles her hair, messing it still further, and sings out, "Come to buy a slave cast-off? If you come to me, you must want something of the sort." How do you know I'm a cast-off? Oh, so it wasn't for very long. Okay. So, what do you want? The tattoo. I had dealings with your shit. So, I have information you might want. Of course, it comes with a price. What kind of information? You think you'll get it from me that easily? I don't think so. I know your type, you cast-offs. Not a one of you can be trusted. I give you this information, you're gone before I can collect my price. So you forgive me if I decline to say outright what secrets I
I'll
hold.
remember that.
One of my wards has run off. She's taken a head wound, not my doing, and I've been watching after her. I don't know where she's gone, but I suspect she's headed to Cliff's Edge. Plenty of other urchins clamoring about the place, and she'd find it easy to blend in. Sadly, my troop and I are detained here, so we can't go ourselves. She's a scrawny child named Rin. Head wound, but it's covered by dark curly hair. Has a little necklace around her throat. Babbles about her gods. Go get her for me, and I'll tell you what you want to know. Fine. Don't take long, my time is valuable, bitch. Rin Tin Tin. Where's this map at? Alright, so... That's where Underbelly is. And where does this motherfucker want me to go? The Cliff's Edge. Alright. Where is that? The Genocide is your name? This burly, armor-clad figure stands almost motionless as you approach. He regards you silently through his singular eye. The studs on his arms and the blades on his shoulders are stained and pitted with age. When he speaks, his voice is muffled and artificial, a hollow grumble that emanates from the entirety of the helmet. I'm the Genocide. If you ask, I must answer. Pass on then and exchange no words. Why do you have to answer if I ask? From within the helmet you hear a grinding noise, the sound of teeth gnashing, amplified, then the voice again, bleak. We sat at the river's edge, and we wept for the time that was. We saw nothing more to conquer, and yet our fears still drove us. We had conquered the land, purged its impurities, made it ours. Still we wanted more. When we heard that humans had come to carve a home, we rejoiced to have a new foe. We knew test of our truth, we rode against them. We drove them to the forge of the night sky, to the valley of the Emerald Jolius, to the dangers of the Black Riage. But those who built atop these ruins, they thwarted us time and again. So we brought our constructs to our deadliest warriors, to the bay outside the city. We laid a mighty siege. We entered the human settlement. We fought past barricades and traps. Some of our constructs are still here, silent and dead. But when we thought we had achieved our greatest victory, he lowered his head. A powerful nano saved them. With his magics, he called upon the strength of the ancients and captured us. I thought my life was at an end, but he imprisoned me in slow time, trapped me in my body, used machines to paralyze my will. I still remember our glories, and I see the faded future in front of me, and I am powerless to act. The memories of our triumphs remain always at the forefront of my mind, and I must answer the mocking questions of these fucking people, or suffer. How did he stop you, the Nano? The Genocide raises his hands in defeat. He found old knowledge and made it his own. He created defenses that we could not penetrate, goddammit. Most telling, most effective, the shield generators, goddammit. He created 3 barriers around the heart of the city, and the last unmoored the city in time. And when our constructs touched it, they flashed to stasis. We could not reach the fucking city, but the city could reach us. You feel the ticklings of memory as the Genocide speaks of the shields. He continues to talk, oblivious. Yeah, let it come. It's a patchy memory, coming in still images and moments, the relentless beat of the war machines as they approach the city, the reavers in the sky on their dirigibles.
I'm ready to learn something new.
Nice. You remember fighting them on the parapet. You remember fleeing into the safety of the city. You recall making your way to the shield generators, cutting off the Tabat supply lines. And then the memory fades. The Genocide watches you silently. The Nano who defeated you was the changing god. His voice is flat and dead. Others have claimed this. I do not know if they say this to torment me, but if our enemy was a god, even if he was once but a man, then to stand against him is to spit in the face of the divine. The Tabat were a holy people. Humans do not believe it, but our rights were as sacred to us as they were profane to your kind. We accepted the will of the ineffable. Any who still live may yet find the mantle of godhood. To be divine is to be beyond the rule of moral ethics. Those who would be gods must cast aside these concerns if they are to turn against the old teachings.
What are you?
I am a blade that cannot cut, a weapon that cannot strike, a living monument to failure. He shifts his weight and you hear the frown in his voice. I was Ogesti Telkotu, the firm hand of tradition. They called me one of the Black Three. Enemies did not understand us. They took my name to mean death in a dozen extinct tongues. Called me Orphan Maker, Hope Smasher, Death's Child. My armies blackened the earth and the skies. My Dragoliths scoured the land. Domination was my duty. If they had known, if they had welcomed us, they might have been our thralls. Instead, they became dust. He gestures. All this, it was to have been mine in stewardship for the future of my people. It was promised, but now I am the genocide, a relic, the last of my kind. You're the last of your kind, Mr. Tabat. Who's the Tabat? My people, great warriors. We own this land. We served the Underspine, and it served us. We saw truth and victory. We ascended to epiphany. We were pure, incorruptible, indivisible, even in disunity. We found strength in one another and proved it with bloody blades. But we fell, and the Underspine fell, and so, too late, we learned a new truth. But I carry the old ways as a seed within my fucking heart. What's this Underspine thing? Our slave, our God, our prize. It kept us holy, kept us pure and unchanging, anchored to a fixed position, point, whatever. The world turned around us, but we remained constant. When the world brought inconsistency, we fed it blood. The Underspine was our soil, our confessor. We knew clean, hard rapture from it. We knew our path. It gave us the words of the ancient Tabat, and our path was rigid and unbending, absolute. What was it, though? You would not understand. It was a machine. It was a stone. It was a cavern. It was a city. It was the direct voice of our ancestors. It spoke in our heads and in our ears and in our hearts, and we heard its voice in our fucking crunches. Whatever that means, in our daily instructions. Our God was true and strong and singular, not the fickle and inconstant things of the modern day. Let me ask you about something else. You feel the genocide gaze upon you through the visor, but he is silent. You mentioned shield generators. Tell me about that. I told you their effect. They unmoored the city in time, and they severed our supply lines. They left us vulnerable and defeated us. The Underspine strategy failed us. I began to doubt. The generators were unused, abandoned, their purpose forgotten, though the people of this city still swear by our name, and our terrors are fresh in their nightmares. Despite the passage of centuries, they forgot the means of their salvation. This one beside me no longer functions, but one of the others is buried in the ground not far from here and has not yet failed. It powers the clock around which those ridiculous fools prance. Why are you the last of your kind? I know of no others. Caligod Anvor, he who shares truth and understanding, he's dead. Vastule Lo, the blinding light of reason, he's dead. The Underspine has fallen. My people are destroyed utterly, and our servant God speaks to us no longer. The clean lines of order and the glory of battle have forsaken us. The rest are dust. We rose against a superior foe and were outmatched. Only I remain to tell the story of the Tabat. I gotta go, dude. You talk too much. I wish you no good tidings. Well, fuck you then, asshole. Tidings up your ass, bitch. Get out the way.
Of course.
Where am I going? I don't know where I'm going, though. Don't. Effects that push or pull characters into walls or the edge of a platform deal additional damage and knock them down. Cool. I hope you die. There's so much fucking reading in this goddamn game. So much fucking reading in this goddamn game. Goddamn it. Loading. Loading, loading, loading. 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 Where am I now? Government Square. Oh, okay. What are my missions right now? Alright, okay, right. What the fuck is this purple shit? This fountain is constructed of a material that seems halfway between wood and stone. It doesn't contain water as might be expected. Instead, it's filled with swarming tiny fish-like creatures that leap and cavort in a wriggling mass. That's fucking crazy. That's fucking cool. Chattering to each other in what sounds like 1,000 different tongues. Listen to what they're saying. Hold on, leave it alone for a second. Zoom in. It's crazy looking. Holy shit. Listen to what they're saying. You fold your arms, listening intently to the fish jabber at each other. It sounds like a cloud of nonsense syllables mashed into baby speak. Spend more time listening. The fish-like creatures continue to gibber a song of melodic syllables and broken words. Examine the fountain. Examine the fountain. The fountain, now that you're looking at it, is unfathomably old. Coppery, tongue-like decorations curl up and over the rim of the structure, as if lapping at the endless stream of creatures within. Catch one. Ah, fuck. You fully depleted one of your stat pools. To recover your stat pools, you find a place to sleep or use a cipher. Okay. You deftly snatch a single fish from the glistening, tumbling flood. The bumbling mass of remaining creatures squawk together in nonsensical outrage. A jally? Listen to this one. Right. You caught this creature from a fountain in Government Square. Small, fish-like, and constantly squirming. It never requires food or other nourishment, and it gibbers constantly in an indecipherable language. What the fuck? Cool. I need a place to sleep. Hello, can you hear me? Who's this guy? Council clerk. Carved into the base of the statue are the words, "The Order of Truth." Oh, okay. Oh, look, what's this? Merchant. Wealthy douchebag, merchant. Wealthy douchebag. Red thicket? What the fuck is that? The fuck? What the fuck? Huh. Okay. Do 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 do. What is this? What the fuck is this?
I'm going.
Towering above you is an enormous archway of metal and synth. Energy pulses through the structure, spilling from thin, transparent powders and subtle shades of gold and cyan. It appears to be dormant, but very much alive. The archway emits a low and constant hum just at the edge of your hearing. Across the top, illuminated words are inscribed. The House of Empty Time. Heavy, rope-like cables connect the archway to an ancient device nearby. Leave it alone.
I'm going.
Power still flows through this ancient machine. A brassy heartbeat pulses within it just at the edge of hearing, and tiny bubbles orbit the entire structure. No, not bubbles. Holes in space. Look through the orbiting holes. A sizzling beam shoots out of the hole and strikes you dead in the eye. It doesn't hurt in the slightest. Instead, your mind is briefly filled with the mouth-watering image of a slab of grilled something and the chummy tones of an advertiser's sales pitch in a language you don't recognize. Why does this feel so familiar? Success! You close your eyes to better concentrate, sinking into the currents of a memory that does not belong to you, or at least the body you are in, and you hear the thunderous heartbeat of the operational generator calling you from across centuries. You open cold, focused eyes, ignoring the screams, the drifting tangles of black smoke. Your attention is solely focused on the health of the machine's heartbeat. You reach into the hissing guts of the generator, adjusting and tuning, hoping. The heartbeat bleeds into the present. Your hand, your body's hand, rests on the rusty surface of the now ancient machine.
I'm ready to learn something new.
Your hands slip over the cobbled together components and greasy cables. The buttons are worn from frequent use. It is a strange accomplishment, this machine. Clumsy but deft. Amateurish but masterful. Only a brilliant mind could have melded so many disparate parts into a functional device. Unfamiliar memories whisper to you. This device was used, though you don't know how, to generate a field that unmoored everything within it from time itself. Your fingers scrape a rough patch. Lifting them, you see a circonate symbol etched into the side like a maker's mark. Okay. Cool. Cool. Oh. Really? Nice. Did she advance too? No, just me. Just me. I'm awesome. Okay. No. Ability or skill. Choose between either improving your picking a new skill or improving one of your abilities. You can only do this once per tier. Skill or ability. Oh, shit. I don't have a fucking... I can't go back. Skill or ability. Skill or ability. Skill. Persuasion. Convince an otherwise reluctant character to see things your way or do what you want them to do. Deception. When you need to convince someone that something is true when it is not. No, persuasion. Alright. Okay. What's this? Stylized writing along the base of the statue reads, Chill of the Great, who struck off our chains. Oh, cool. Alright, I gotta take a fucking break. I've been playing this for like fucking hours, I think. Oh, next time on Torment, Tides of Numenera, we're gonna do something. I don't know, there's lots of shit to do. Subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, hit the notification bell, and hit the fucking other thing. Leave a comment, yeah. Give me your fucking money.